particularly delighted to be here on the day that you're acknowledging Jackson-Vanik bill. That originated before my time in Congress, but I remember following it so closely and working so closely with the Jewish community on Long Island, how vital that was, what that meant, and really what a tremendous bargaining lever it was for the United States, and really put us in a moral position to say that there are some issues that don't have to be dealt with pragmatically, that do have a moral dimension to them, do have a moral component, and that the United States does have lasting interests that go just beyond pure national interests, but actually involve higher moral values. And I understand Mrs. Vanik is here today, which is really a tremendous, thank you for being here. Thank you. That really was a time, I think, when Congress had the leaders to come forward and do what had to be done. That was also before we fell into some of the political correctness that affects us today. So thank God for Senator Jackson and Congressman Vanik. I also don't want to make this a partisan issue, but I believe that Israel, as our closest ally in the Middle East, deserves to be treated better than it has been. I don't know of any world leader that treated as bad as the president's treated worse than Netanyahu. Prime Minister Netanyahu is the elected leader of the only democracy in the Middle East and perhaps our closest ally in the world. He deserves much more respect than he's gotten. We should not be suggesting a moral equivalency between Israel building apartment houses in Jerusalem and Iran building a nuclear weapon. In fact, in my own capacity as chairman of the Homeland Security Committee, I want to assure you that I will continue to do all that I can to stop and to defeat and expose Islamic terrorism. Whether it's overseas or here at home. And I'll just take a moment to, I'm sure that many of you read all the controversy when I scheduled a series of hearings into the radicalization of the American Muslim community. I think it just brought out the worst in a lot of people, the best in others. As far as bringing out the worst in people, New York Times did 4 editorials condemning me, 2 front-page stories. I don't think mass murderers get that, that kind of coverage. But I got it, and why? Why were they so outraged? Because I was going to investigate a small percentage of people in the community who are being recruited by Al-Qaeda to fight against us. That's the reality. This has nothing to do with the Muslim religion, but the fact is that whether it's 1% or half of 1%, we're talking about what could be thousands of people who could be engaged in an action against the United States. I mean, we have set up defenses against Al-Qaeda, which makes it virtually, not impossible, but extremely difficult for them to attack us from the outside. A 9/11 attack would be extremely difficult for Al-Qaeda to carry out. But the fact is, they want to destroy us. What they have now done, they've changed their methods, and they are now recruiting within the United States. They're recruiting people who are living here legally, who are under the radar screen. We saw that with Major Hassan, who murdered 13 people at Fort Hood. We saw it with Zazi, who was the attempted New York subway bomber, who actually had been raised in Queens, went to Flushing High School. He had actually a hot dog stand or a coffee stand in Lower Manhattan. No involvement with the law. Man had no problems at all, as far as we knew. And yet he was going to carry out a liquid explosive plot against the United States. He went to Afghanistan, supposedly to visit family members, and he ended up being trained by Al-Qaeda, coming back, and he would have been successful in his attack, except that it wasn't luck, but it was fortuitous. We have many layers of defense set up. One of them is electronic surveillance, which has been criticized by many. The fact is, there was electronic surveillance being carried out of 2 other terrorists, and in the course of the conversation, Zazi's name was mentioned. Until then, nobody knew him, knew anything about him. And fortunately, one astute person noticed that, tracked it down, and we found out what he was doing. Found out that he was going to carry out a liquid explosive plot against New York, and he was literally stopped the last minute. That's what happens. It's literally the last minute. Otherwise, we would have had at least hundreds of people, maybe more, killed on September 11th, 2009. You had Sajjad, the Times Square bomber, a resident of Pakistan who moved to the United States and became an American citizen. Had a job on Wall Street. No one, any reason to suspect him at all, and yet he also went to Pakistan to be trained by the Pakistan Taliban, and was going to carry out an attack against New York. Again, we got lucky, but it's part of what we were doing. We, and part of this was done by the Homeland Security Committee. We banned the sale of ammonium nitrate unless it's actually recorded. You can't just go in and buy ammonium nitrate or fertilizer containing ammonium nitrate. So therefore, the fertilizer he bought was inadequate for the job, and the bomb didn't go off. But that was a 95% successful operation. Would have killed many, many hundreds of people in Times Square on a Saturday night. So anyway, my goal was to examine, find out why this is happening, and find out why the Muslim community does not come forward more and tell us what's going on in their community. We have mosques where plots have been planned and no action is taken. No one comes to the police, no one talks about it. Somehow this wall of silence and secrecy has developed. And I would have thought that people in the Muslim community would have come forward to cooperate, would have said, yes, we do want to stop this, we do want to show our loyalty. I remember after September 11th, and I had actually spent a lot of time with the Muslim community. I had supported the wars in Bosnia and Kosovo to protect the Muslims from attacks by Orthodox Christians. And so I thought I had a good relationship with a particular mosque on Long Island, the Islamic Center of Long Island. I went to the weddings of officers in the mosque. I was at their homes. Again, I thought I had very good personal relationships with them. After September 11th, they started being quoted in the newspaper saying there's no evidence at all that Al-Qaeda attacked the World Trade Center. It could have been the Jews, or the Zionists, it's a great term, the Zionists, the CIA, the FBI. So that's when I realized that we had to look into this, it had to be examined. And I promise you, as long as I'm chairman of the committee, I will continue those investigations and those hearings. So I will wrap up my remarks. But thank you for what you do. Thanks for having me here today. Ms. Vanek, it's a really privilege to be able to see you here today. Thank you and your husband, your late husband, for what you did for our country, for Israel, and really for the entire world. So thank you all very much.